Hi, my name is Pastor Chris, and welcome to the first session in our series on the book of Exodus. It's called The Story of Us, and we're looking at the process of transformation. We begin this story with maybe not right at the beginning of the book of Exodus, but certainly at the beginning of the call for action. We're looking at Exodus 3 and 4 today, and we're at the very famous story of where Moses meets his burning bush, where he meets God, and God gives him this fantastic commission. And he says to Moses, Moses, I've got a plan and a purpose for your life. I need you to save my people, rescue my people. And really, that's a call for all of us. I don't know if you know it, but we have been called to make a difference in the community that's around us. We've been called with the Great Commission to shine as a light, to help the neighbors around, the community that's all around us, even our own family. But Moses, I guess he reacts to this big call in the same kind of way that all of us would react. If you go through today's session, you will read chapters 3 and 4, and you'll see how Moses, he comes face to face with something he doesn't understand, a bush that is burning, that it's talking to him. It's clear to him that he's encountering God, and God has a great plan for him. God says, I am almighty, I'm so powerful, and I want you to rescue my people, and I've got signs and wonders that will follow. But Moses, I guess, answers God in the same way that we do. He says, God, do you know who I am? I am all that I am. I don't know how to talk. I'm not very eloquent. I can't do powerful miracles. I am just a normal, regular person. And sometimes that's us. When God begins this process of transformation, He says, you can be a fantastic husband to your wife. You could be a great father to your kids. You could be a mother that leads a new generation of people. You could be an employee that makes a difference. Sometimes our response to God is, God, you don't know who I am. I can't talk. I can't witness to anybody. I can't make a difference. I can't do miracles. And Moses basically spends his time saying to God, God, I am who I am, and it's not much. But God redefines the whole thing. He makes it clear to Moses that only one person in the whole world can say, I am who I am, and that's God. He introduces himself as the God who is who He is. Moses, I am who I am. And because I am God, the Almighty God, I can do all things. So Moses, don't rely on your own strength. Trust me on this journey. And basically, that's the whole story of Exodus right there. It ends up being a good story. It ends up with the people of God being rescued out of slavery. It's epic. People from thousands of years after that is going to talk about how Israel was saved. In fact, the Jews themselves will celebrate it every year, how they've been rescued from slavery. As Christians, we will celebrate it as a forecoming of Jesus Christ who saves us. So that we know the whole story turns out well. We know it all goes great. But Moses consistently struggles with allowing God to be God. He will doubt himself. He will doubt that God's going to pull off a miracle, even though He does pull off miracles. He will look at his own limitations and his strength. And I think that's all of us at the beginning of our journey. So during this session, as you go through the discussion questions, as you look more into this story, I hope that you will look at it and go, hey, how do I react when God calls me for something? How do I react when I need to take a big step of faith? Do I say to God, God, do you know who I am? That I am all these limitations. I have all these limitations and I can't do all these things? Or do we say, God, you are an amazing God? Because God actually is the one who sends out Moses. He's the one who says, rely on me, trust in me. And I think God does that for us today. That He calls us for a great mission. We've got a great purpose, but we need to rely on Him. And hopefully it doesn't take us all of our lives and 40 years of wandering around wildernesses and to be able to get to fulfilling God's transformation purpose in our life. I hope you have a great discussion and that you robustly handle this story that we're about to read. God bless.